We are here at the Princess Juliana International Airport getting a last view of what is actually transpiring before the soft opening. And I will turn you over now to Mr. Mito Breel as what we will be able to expect.
Thank you, Valerie. As I indicated during our walkthrough, the first phase of the opening will be passengers will continue checking in the check-in area that we have presently. There'll be a corridor that gives them directions how to get upstairs. Before they go upstairs, there'll be an area for the boarding pass control. We have those machines already installed. You'll be able to use the elevator, escalator, or stairs to go upstairs, where you'll be into the departure lounge. First, you go through screening. You were able to see the new CTX machines and the QPS, the quick passenger screening machines that are all installed. Right after that, we're going to be at the E-gates, which is for immigration control, and then you're into the departure. The doors are being strengthened. We put them into the column, into the foundation. This was one of the areas that was compromised by the hurricane. Everything is blown in. I believe this should be able to withstand a max traffic.
There's nothing to cover it up.
Oh, this is not the finished part.
Yeah, but it's going to be something that...
It's going to be doors and everything.
Like the glass is hurricane.
The hurricane rated, but we're also going to be shutters on the outside. You can see the terrazzo flow. They're really pushing right now for us to get this area finalized. You can see all the connections to the kiosks. There's going to be 24 kiosks in front here. As well in the back, they're making provisions for the self-service backdrops. The curtain, we're now dividing what's going to happen from phase 1, which is behind the curtain, and this here is going to be phase 2. All right. Phase 2 incorporates all of the infrastructure that goes into the basement for the baggage, all the way out to the makeup area where the bags come out before you load them onto the aircraft. The counters, as you can see, they are able for us to be able to put them in the back. To be able to work from here.
They're permanently installed, but they can
swivel. All right. This is a concern we had before, because when the agents needed to get behind, they will always walk on the belt, which is also the scale. And what we had is a lot of perforations because of the heels that the ladies use, as well as because of the weights. We would always have the load cells off. So we had constant challenges where we had to be recalibrating the scales so that you get the correct weight when we do that. So this should reduce the amount of time we need to calibrate the scales. We also had issues where once there was nothing happening in the back and they were waiting for passengers to come, they would sit on the scales, which again also threw them off. We now have permanent chairs that are going to be set in the back so they have somewhere to sit. A lot of stuff that was happening before that we could correct, we took the opportunity to correct them.
Right. Each airline gets 1 or 2?
Depending. These are common use terminal equipment. Common use meaning that any airlines can go wherever. So depending on the flow of traffic that day, we can assign multiple counters to one airline or shrink them down to one if necessary.
You're going to have a board that says Delta, American,
we'll have monitors, and when they log in to their system, it will automatically change the monitor upstairs to say which airline. The intention is we've reduced the amount of counters to 22. We had 46 before. And we're in the digital age where most people are checking in online. We also have the kiosks that I mentioned, and we also have the backdrop. So there should be less interactions that people need to come to a counter to be able to check in. Check in from home, you go straight to the backdrop, you print your bag tag, put it on your bag, it verifies that you are flying that day, and it lets the bag through. If you need to come, you can also check in by the kiosk, go straight to the backdrop. Only those persons who are not comfortable with the kiosk, comfortable with checking in online, would need to come here. So we don't need as many counters as we did before. So as I mentioned, we're opening the terminal in 2 phases. The first phase, as you saw in the publication, is the opening of the departure hall.
Right.
The departure hall means we're going to continue checking in where we're checking in presently. The door you see is going to be widened. So we'll have a bigger structure. We'll close off the work that's still being carried on. If you can see as well, the terrazzo floor has been extended right up to where you see the video wall. So passengers will be able to check in and walk through that corridor and be able to go upstairs. That will be the first phase. So we'll go upstairs so you can see what the departure is going to look like. Sorry to hear that. Okay, sorry. So the first touch point after check-in, the passenger will come through the security checkpoint. Here's where we check your boarding pass. You can use the printed boarding pass, or you can use the digital QR code off your phone, and you can be able to check in here. Once you do that, it opens the gate and allows you through. What we're verifying here is to make sure that it's a valid boarding pass and that you are flying that are physically challenged and they can't use the gates. They'll be able to use this.
Okay.
Where there's also a manual area for them to be able to scan the boarding pass before you go up there. This is also for families that have children in strollers or whatever. The elevator is going to be a glass elevator. So right now it's going to be constructed like that until we finalize. It's protected. The escalator has been tested. Elevators have been tested. We had the certifier from.
How did your tester is not in?
They're working.
Yeah?
The escalator is working.
Okay. I thought it was here.
Correct. All of the elevators that are going to be operational for this phase has been already tested with an institute out of the Netherlands that came in to certify them.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
St. Martin, the Department of Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs proudly presents its second Things I Wish My Father Taught Me, a series of meaningful conversations in commemoration of International Men's Day on November 19th. The weekly podcast features several inspirational figures and moderated by Mr. Rishinal Arundel. The topics and guest speakers include mental health featuring Mr. Sharensly Valise and Mr. Star Peterson, lifelong learning with Mr. Jamal Newton and Mr. Marvio Cooks, Gilders and Sense with Mr. Jude Houston and Mr. Edsel Gums, and relationships featuring Mr. Alston Lawrence. Things I Wish My Father Taught Me offers a mix of critical reflections and entertainment. Join us every Sunday in November at 8 p.m. via the Facebook pages of the Government of St. Martin and Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs, Tel TV 15, SXM TV Broadcast, TV Carib, and St. Martin Gov Radio 1079. During the hurricane season, a potential tropical cyclone can produce rainfall that can cause flash flooding and rockfalls. Stay away from flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall, such as Jump Up Casino on Emil Plain Road in Phillipsburg, ATLH Road Roundabout, L.B. Scott Road from Emilio Wilson Park until Cake House Supermarket, Zaker's Gut from Petro Plus gas station until the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Welcalaken Road K Hill from Welcalaken Road Roundabout until the One Tete Loke Roundabout, Beacon Hill Road from Sunset Bar and Grill until the beginning of White Sands Road, and Rhine Road, also known as Mullet Bay Road, after Sonesto Maho Beach Hotel to the entrance of Cooper Coy from the intersection of the University Drive until the intersection of Rio Grande. For more information on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit stmartingolf.org/hurricane. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
You cannot tell me that this government would sit down with NRBP and put a priority list together. Put a list together of priorities where money should be spent, where money should go. And this is what is happening to our schools in this country. How much money have you allocated to these schools? Fernando, it is crazy. It is crazy what assessment have been done in these schools. You know that rain is coming. You know that we are under a flood watch. Over and over we have been warned. Who goes out and do the inspection of these schools? What is happening? What is going on? That our children have to be put outside and have us sit out. So it means that the management of the school has been warning the authorities of this situation for a long time. Okay?
We can't take no more.
We can't take no more.
I've reported, been sending reports. The last one was since February.
Okay? Can you imagine that?
Since February.
Can you think about it, Fernando? Think about it.
But you remember in June, when the hurricane season started, I was saying this is the time to go fix the schools. On this very program, and on my midday program, I was saying June, we closing schools just now, because we quick to close schools. Everything, window, close the school. School closed. Fix the schools. And I am saying, you get 550 million euros. Okay? You can't go to NRPB and say, listen, I need X amount to fix all my schools.
Then we do our assessment, see what was.
Yeah, of course, you do your assessment, and you see what need to fix and how much it will cost.
But Fernando, what do you mean? Fernando, hold on. No, Fernando, that's a wrong approach. The government don't have to go to NRPB and tell them, I need this. The government sets the tone and the responsibility and to say, this is what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't be the government in this country and you got to go and ask and tell them, I need this. No, they don't have no authority in this country to decide that.
The management of the Orania School and also the president of the Y2, where the president also brought the concerns of and the plight of the teachers, not only of Orania School, but of all public schools, and the concerns that were understandable, and we address those concerns. Right now, as we speak, there are members of the VROMI department assisting the teachers to move all their chairs and tables into the spaces allocated for the students who come back in tomorrow, air-conditioned spaces. We also provided resources for some extra funds. In addition to that, we have expedited the process that the Minister of Education has started in regarding to the cabling. One of the issues is that the school does not have the proper cabling and system, amps from GB, to be able to house air conditions. So we can't just hook up air conditioners to the school, so a whole infrastructure process needs to start in terms of cabling. That process has started. In addition to that, in our discussions, the president also brought forward that it's not just one school, it's multiple public schools. And then there we finalized, or let's say we started a plan of how we're going to address this. In a couple of weeks, we will have a tender out for air conditions for all the public schools that need. In addition to that, while that is being processed, we'll be looking at the cabling of, in particular, I believe, Ruby La Vega School that still needs cabling. So cabling from the GB aspect, and then still cabling from the main line to the building. So it's two different sets of cabling. So I look forward to this process. We also discuss the state that the school is in. So some urgent repairs that the school needs to have on the roof and some other areas, and all of this will be done, start in a couple of weeks. So I'm thankful also for the cooperation of the management, the union, but of course in particular the parents, the teachers, and the students.
SXM, your social and health insurance is SXM, your social and health insurance is.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah, your social and health insurance is.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
There's some simple principles that have worked in developed countries that need to be followed. Red flag laws. You need to call out people whom you believe, for some reason or the other, are prone to gun violence and to access to guns. Background checks on people who will have access to guns. Waiting periods for access to guns. Cooling off periods. Limiting the caliber of firearm that anyone that wants to protect themselves should be allowed to do.
The Caribbean community continues to explore the need for regional law enforcement cooperation. We must adopt collective strategies to address these challenges along key thematic areas of prevention, intervention and suppression, evidence-based initiatives, multi-agency intervention, technological support, and comprehensive communication strategies, all required. We must commit to open, constructive dialogue aimed at formulating and implementing unified strategies. By pooling our resources, expertise, and experience, we can develop comprehensive solutions that not only target the symptoms, but also address the root causes of gang violence.
From above, Haiti's capital Port-au-Prince seems like a peaceful city on the Caribbean Sea. But on the ground, most of the metropolitan area is controlled by around 150 criminal groups, which the government has failed to stop. Their members terrorize the population through kidnapping, murder, sexual violence, looting, and burning down homes. According to the United Nations, criminal groups killed over 2,000 people and kidnapped more than 1,000 others during the first half of 2023. Almost 200,000 people have fled their homes since 2022 due to violence. Many lack access to adequate food, water, shelter, education, healthcare, and other basic services. So how did the situation get so bad, especially in Cité Soleil commune, where residents face violence when going about their daily lives?
C'est une zone qui a longtemps été abandonnée par les autorités étatiques parce que, en fait, par exemple, à Cité Soleil, il n'y a pas un commissariat fonctionnels, il n'y a pas un tribunal de paix, il n'y a pas même un bureau de l'Office de l'État civil. Donc, la population de Cité-Soleil, de toute cette commune, est pratiquement une population livrée à elle-même. Justement, en raison de l'absence des autorités étatiques, les grandes armées s'organisent mieux. Lorsque Cité-Soleil est en guerre, de manière générale, pour les hommes qui sont capturés, ils sont exécutés. De manière générale, toutes les femmes qui sont capturées, elles sont violées. Et elles sont violées de manière collective et souvent de manière répétée.
Impunity reigns as the authorities often fail to act against the criminal groups, some of which are allegedly backed by members of the political, economic, and security elite. Much of the worst violence happens in the communes of Cité-Soleil, Cabaret, Croix des Bouquets, and Port-au-Prince. G9 is the deadliest criminal group operating in Cité-Soleil and other areas of Port-au-Prince. Its leader is former police officer Jimmy Cherizier. G9's main rival is GPEP, led by Jean-Pierre Gabriel, which controls an area in Cité-Soleil called Brooklyn. People in Brooklyn have had limited access to drinking water, electricity, healthcare, education, and food for months due to criminal violence and government inaction. Many live on a garbage heap and in mud, as much of the city's sewage flows into the area through canals. G9 members have besieged and attacked Brooklyn's roughly 100,000 residents in their attempt to gain control of all of Cité-Soleil. Many victims of the violence have been treated in hospitals outside of Cité-Soleil. Gunshot wounds are the most common injuries that medical staff treat. This teenage girl is visiting her 10-year-old sister, who was shot by a criminal group at a place called Carrefour La Mort, or Block of Death. The fate of their mother was even worse.
But then I'm being fun, or make you or advertise as a numbers. Like new because there are studies still badminton you see certain from bad new pican so about is met and be like that doesn't make to do with like findings in my and that and then my so man is the name of pican but studies and atling pican guys and me kunyan the like could be still you are as an in some going have me ocean stage in the
Even people who are trying to improve the situation face risk, as this man found out. Given the government's inaction, some Haitians have decided to take justice into their own hands. Since late April 2023, the newly formed Wakali movement has reportedly killed more than 200 suspected criminal group members across the country, further escalating a violent and dangerous situation. The violence has spread beyond the capital to northern agricultural regions, threatening the country's food supply.
We've seen farmland being fought over. We've seen trucks with food being pillaged. We've seen humanitarian warehouses be looted, and therefore food is an essential component to this conflict.
The UN estimates that most of Haiti's population are acutely food insecure. Haiti is now one of the countries in the world with communities most at risk of starvation. Haiti is led by Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who was not elected. Many Haitians consider him illegitimate and corrupt. In late 2022, he called on the international community to deploy a specialized armed force to assist Haiti. The US and the UN supported this call. Many Haitian civil society organizations agree that Haiti urgently needs a transitional government and a rights-based international force. It would help to overcome the security crisis and support good governance, so long as it includes controls to avoid the serious abuses and harm caused by past international interventions.
Je voudrais demander à la communauté internationale d'arrêter de soutenir les prédateurs de droits humains. Aujourd'hui, nous avons à la tête du pays des prédateurs de droits humains. Il n'aurait pas été La situation n'aurait pas été celle qu'elle est aujourd'hui si justement ceux qui dirigent le pays n'auraient pas accepté justement qu'elle soit comme ça. La situation n'aurait pas été celle qu'elle est si les autorités étatiques ne fournissaient pas protection, armes et de l'argent aux bandits armés. Donc ce sont des prédateurs des droits humains. Arrêtez de les supporter, arrêtez de travailler avec eux, apprenez à écouter les citoyens et les citoyennes qui sont là et qui ont aussi de très bonnes idées pour sortir Haïti du marasme.